All right, here we go. Today we have legendary video vixen Gloria Velez.
Hello.
We go back. We go back.
We do go back.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, over 20 years.
Welcome to VladTV for the first time ever.
Well, you interviewing me.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, so let's start at the very beginning. You were born in Long Island.
Yes.
Okay, and your mom was a homemaker.
Yes.
But your dad had kind of an interesting background.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, he was a street guy, and the things he sold, he also consumed. So he wasn't a good street guy. So he was home, he was present, but not always present. And my mom tolerated what my dad did, you know? She was raised as a Puerto Rican mom, cooked clean and took care of the household. And dad brought the money home, you know? Yeah. So, it was dysfunctional because, after a while, the drugs started getting really, really bad. Mm-hmm. And he started shooting up and bringing prostitutes to the house. And my mom started putting down her feet like, this is not going to happen, And then one night, I remember I was 5 years old. My dad was throwing up blood in the bathroom. And my mom woke me and my brother up. We're like 11 months apart. And said, this is what drugs do to you. And it haunted me for a long time. And that's why I never did drugs, because I saw what the drugs did to my dad. And that was in Brooklyn. So when we lived in Long Island for like 3 months, and then we moved to Brooklyn.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, your mom, your grandmother had her at 14.
Yes.
How old was your mom when she had you?
19.
19.
Yes.
Okay, so this whole teenage thing.
Yes.
Yes. Teen,
yeah. My grandmother had her first one 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
She had 3. And then courts back then had rights over women and made her tie her tubes and made the man, my grandfather, marry her because she was underage and had 3 children.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at one point around 1986, you guys moved to Florida.
I was in 3rd grade when we moved to Florida. And we initially moved to Boca Raton, moving into my aunt's house.
Right. But then things went wrong and you guys became homeless.
Yes. So my dad and my mom sent money to my sister's, my mom's sister's house, my mom, because my dad would spend money. So they didn't know how to keep money. So she sent it to her sister. And her sister ended up spending all our money. When we moved down, they were supposed to get a place, and restart in Florida. But there was a lot of problems. My mom's sister family, her husband was a drug dealer too. They were not good with money and they were behind on bills. So within a month or 2 living with them, we all became homeless. So it wasn't a good start.
Right. And you had a brother at this point. A younger brother.
Yes. My mom just had a baby, 3 months old. So it's us 3. It's me, my other brother, 11 months, and then a newborn.
Okay. So 3 kids, single mom.
Yes.
You guys ended up on welfare and food stamps.
Yes, we did.
How hard was that time for you?
Extremely hard. Because back then they were trying to get on Section 8 and it was super hard like now it is. And so we was in and out of homeless. We lived in a shelter home for a little while as well. We just never got our footing when we moved to Florida. It was difficult. It was chaotic. My dad, job to job, then hustling, and then it was so unstable. My childhood so unstable.
Well, you guys start moving around Florida, and your dad gets a job at Coca-Cola.
Yes.
They do a physical for him.
Yes.
And then some devastating news comes in.
Yes. They said he had AIDS. So back then they checked when you had a job. And he was cleaning up. He was getting better. He was proud of himself that he passed the test. He was getting a trucking, in a company, driving trucks. He loved it. He loved to drive. And that broke him. Once they told him he had AIDS, back then they tell you when you have AIDS, you're going to die, So he thought his world was over. And he said, fuck it. I'm just going to do drugs and live my life the way he felt like, will make his life better, but which it doesn't. And he just spiraled. And then we spiraled with him because my mom wasn't a motivator. She didn't go out and go get a job. She just waited for him when he was ready to come home or, pay the bills or bring us food. So she would pressure me and kind of groomed me as a young child. Like, you have to take care of us. You know, you have to make money. So I felt pressure as a teenager that I have to take care of my family because my dad was in and out, no longer really present. Jail, streets, gone for days. You know what I mean? He would sell our food stamps. And back then it was paper food stamps, you know?
Yeah.
So it was really difficult, you know?
Well, I mean, back then HIV was a death sentence until they came out with the drugs that Max Johnson got on initially. This was right around 1991, 1992.
Yeah.
So did your dad get access to that? Did he end up living with HIV for a while, or did he start to deteriorate?
I believe when he started taking the different medications, he was like a guinea pig. So he went, you know, to certain places. They said, use this medicine, you know, we'll cure you. And it made it worse. It made him worse. He got shingles. He started getting really skinny and sick. He didn't look like him anymore. So I really do feel like a lot of the medication that they were giving him was deteriorating him. It wasn't making him better. I mean, on top of that, he was doing drugs, but added on to the medication, I really believe that if he lived a healthier lifestyle, he would still be here.
Okay, so you're like a freshman, sophomore in high school, and you're around 14 years old, and you meet a guy named Vinny.
Yes.
And this is a street guy.
Yes.
Is this like the first sort of street guy that you're around, you know, boyfriend-wise?
No, I had a neighbor. He looked like Justin Bieber. And it was I swear to God, he was my freshman year in high school. And he was in a gang called Folk Nation. It was a lot of gangs in South Florida.
Yeah.
And I was attracted to him, and he was a street dude. I mean, your first love, your first everything is your parents, your mom and your dad. And I admired my dad's street, you know, his swag and the way people lured to him. You know, he had charisma. And I was attracted to street dudes at that time. And so he was a wild one. And they would do drive-bys then, you know, gang activities, you know. In Broward, it was crazy in Broward back then. In Broward County. So he was my first initial like sweetheart boyfriend, you know, street dude. And then his father sent him away because it started getting serious, you know. He wanted out and the street gang was going to take him out, you know. So his father had to send him back to his mother.
Well, didn't he get arrested at your house?
Oh, Vinny did. That's another street guy. So I've dated a lot of guys that were like my dad, you know, and he did some things in the streets, and this was just puppy love. Wasn't like no sexual anything in the relationships. It was just puppy love. And he came over to my house, and my house was surrounded by cops. He did some things. It was on like one of those news stations all over the news of what he did. He hurt people. He sold things. He stole. It's just crazy. And they took him out of my house. They knew that he would go willingly and calmly when he was with me. He was like a different person. So, and then I looked him up on Facebook. People were sending to me. He got married. He lived a great life. And I think he died of COVID. Yeah, wow. Yeah, and I was sad. But he had children, and, you know, he lived a good life. He changed his life.
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
I was almost 15. I was 14 and a half.
Okay, so around that time, 14.
Yeah, right after that, yes.
Okay, because then you started dating a guy named Fabian.
Yes.
Who was older.
Yes.
How much older?
He had to be like 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're 14.
Yes.
He's 20.
Yes.
Okay.
He knew my age. It was my best friend Camille's older brother's best friend. Yeah.
Right. So you guys start messing around, and then you were at a skip party because you weren't going to school.
Right.
And he found you guys there.
Yes.
And then things went left.
Yes. So down in Broward, we had skip parties at, you know, different parks, and they played reggae music and house music. So me and my girlfriends jumped in a car to get some, you know, Gatorade and stuff like that because it was really hot. And my boyfriend saw me at the gas station with two guys. So one driving, one in front, and three girls. So he was very jealous, very controlling. He was a 5%er. So it's like Muslims, but they're very strict and street, you know. It's a little bit different. And he was like, "Oh, you with my girl?" I was like, "No, count. There's two, you know, three girls, two guys. We're just getting juice." And I mean, he just started shooting at the car. Yeah.
He started shooting at the car.
Yes, glass everywhere. He started chasing the car. We jumped in. It was mayhem. And the guys I didn't even know that we were in the car with had some stuff in the trunk. So we had to abandon the car. We ran. I had glass all over. I had to call my dad. Back then we had like payphones, I called my dad and he came and he got crazy, obviously, because, we were shot at, had glass everywhere. It was a little cut up. And he went to their house and knocked on their door and was like, let's go, bring it. You're going to hurt my daughter. And I wasn't ready to let him go, And that wasn't the last straw. The last straw was me and my best friend Camille, she threw a party at her house and I was there and we had a lot of people. Her mom came early from Jamaica and there was everybody in the house. So they told everybody to get out. We left. She got beat up by her mom, her brother, and everybody. So they felt like they were going to discipline me too because I'm her best friend and I was there, that I participated in the party. So when they knocked on the door, my little brother was like, Glo, Fabian's at the door. And he's little. He's like 5'6". I go to the door. He just pulls me out and just punches me. Back then we had the big rings. Remember, like the big rings? He slid my eye. I was swollen. And my little brother just starts screaming at the window, Mom, Daddy, they're hitting her. And that's when my dad jumped. He always had like blades. He was a karate expert. Like my dad could really fight. But he was little. He was like 5'8", 5'7". And my boyfriend time was over 6 feet. And he put it's like a machete sword on his throat. It was like, you're going to die today. But his boys were surrounded with guns. My mom came out with it. It was just crazy. It was just insane, but they left. And then my dad had to threaten them a few times before they left me alone.
So was this your first domestic violence situation in a relationship?
Yes, my first domestic violence situation, yes.
And this would set a trend as your life went on.
Yes. I was used to chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was used to dysfunction. That was my life. That's all I knew.
Well, you started hanging out at clubs. And at 14, you started entering booty shaking contests?
Yes, they had booty shaking count for teenagers. It was a teen club.
What?
It's teen club. I know.
Okay.
Teen clubs. Back then, that's what they did.
Yeah. That's Florida for you.
That's Florida for you. So we had teen clubs in Broward, Miami, Boca. But mind you, teen clubs, not adults. But adults used to show up at the teen clubs and try to scout and groom younger women. Okay. So at these teen clubs, you had people performing. Two Live Crew, DJ Laz. And Laz was a DJ to a lot of these teen clubs. And they used to have competitions and used to win thousands of dollars. They gave us thousands to win. And that was like everything to me because now I can help my parents, put food on the table and just do things and contribute. So it was, and I love to dance. So that's one of the things I wanted to do was go on tour. And that's when I met DJ Laz and my first was going on tour with DJ Laz. He used to work for Power 96 in Miami.
So you're doing an album cover photo shoot.
Yes.
For which artist?
DJ Laz, the
DJ
first
Laz.
one. I did many.
Okay, because he had his own albums.
Yes, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out DJ Laz, Florida legend.
Yes.
And they wanted you to take your top off?
Yes.
At 14?
Yes. And they knew, let me be clear. They all knew my age. They met me in a teen club. He met my mom. They drove me home many of times. So they knew I was a teenager. But I felt pressured. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to. Growing up, we're taught to obey adults. I had no guidance in the industry going in. You know what I mean? So, I didn't want to be a nuisance or them say you can't do the photo shoot because I wanted to be a part. This was a big deal. The cover of, a vinyl. So I did. But you can see the awkwardness in the photos.
So you took your top off?
Yeah, and I was holding, yes. Yes.
This is still around?
Yes, it is.
Hold on. What's the name of that?
I think it's Journey into Bass. That's it.
That's
it. You got it. You got it.
I got it.
He got it. They try to hide that shit. No, I'm just kidding.
So it's two girls that are topless.
Me and another girl, yes.
Right.
Yes.
We don't know how old she is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met her on, And I think she was a dancer for him for a while too, but we really didn't talk.
This is wildly inappropriate for a 14-year-old.
It is.
This is completely ridiculous when I'm looking at it.
I know.
2025. And really, what year was this?
Well, I was 14, so, oh my God, 93, 94?
This is inappropriate in 93.
Yes, yeah.
Honestly.
Well, I mean, in the club, you're shaking your butt and the teenage girls are half naked. They were grooming us to think that was okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That whole thing.
And adults cheering us on and giving us money to shake our butt. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was acceptable then. It was.
I mean, imagine if this happened like today on social media. It would go
of course
super viral.
Yeah.
the record label would have to drop him as an artist. And like,
Yeah,
it'd be a
cool.
whole big thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're doing stuff with DJ Laz.
Yes.
Did you meet Luke around this time?
He introduced me to Luke.
Okay.
Yes.
So Uncle Luke, the founder of the 2 Live Crew.
Mm-hmm.
And this is essentially the biggest hip hop figure in Florida during this time.
He was. Yes, he was. So it would be a big deal if I would go on tour with him and dance for him. That would be iconic.
Right. Because 2 Live Crew, Laz was, I think, more of a Florida celebrity.
Yeah.
2 Live Crew had national hits.
That's right.
We So Horny,
Right.
Banned in the USA.
Right.
They went to the Supreme Court. They're
That's
getting, and actually, there's an interesting story around it because their albums were getting seized by the authorities and they were getting arrested. So it was kind of creating a whole buzz that was
Right.
bigger than just the music.
Right.
So this is the biggest entity really almost anywhere at that point, and you start going on tour with them.
Right. Because they were beyond raunchy.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you were a backup dancer, a 2 Live Crew
Yes.
backup dancer while they were touring.
Yes.
In Florida or other states as well?
Florida and other states.
Wow. And you were how old?
14. I started.
14. You were going
Yes.
interstate
Yes. Laz and other artists as well.
to shake your ass on stage.
Yes.
In front of 21 and older clubs.
Yeah.
Or 18 and over, I guess,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But definitely not teenage clubs. 2 Live Crew does not make teenage music.
No, they don't make teenage music,
Yeah.
but they did perform at teenage clubs. They did. That's how I met them.
Oh.
So a lot of these artists I met in a teenage club, they performed for us.
Okay. So what was it like doing that?
Initially, it was fun. I loved it. You know, we actually really danced. It wasn't just shaking your ass. So we had a performance, we had routines, we practiced. I did it on weekends and holidays because I was still going to school at that time. And I mean, it was something that I dreamed of, you know, performing for a lot of people, just being recognized, praised. I mean, as a little girl, that's what, you know, you dream of. I'm modeling now. I'm modeling for John Casablanca. I'm on tour. I get to help my mom. I get to help pay bills, you know? So I felt good. I felt like I'm in the right place. Initially, in the beginning, everybody was nice. You know, everybody was sweet until it wasn't.
Well, the other girls, were they all over 18 or were there other underage girls too?
We really didn't like discuss our ages.
Huh. Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, they knew I was a teenager because they would drive me home and back. Some of them met my mother, you know, and they knew that I couldn't do if they had a weekday. I couldn't perform because I was in school. So everybody knew my age. So this thing that they're saying, oh, I lied about my age, I never lied about my age. There's no reason to. So they all knew my age.
Right. And this was really a hypersexual environment. I remember I interviewed Brother Marquise from the 2 Live Crew. And we were talking about that. He was saying how during that time, there were guys around there saying that they felt they had a rape pass. He
Right.
actually said this on camera. A rape pass.
Right.
I mean, at your age, when you look back at some of the lyrics, you know, for example, you know, me and my homies like to play this game, some call it Amtrak, you know, we call it the train. And there's a part of the song where you say, the girl will say, stop, I say, I'm not. I mean, kind of rapey lyrics when you look back on it.
Yeah, but I have never forced myself on a female. I've never raped a young lady. I've always had consensual sex. Never none of that. Never none.
I understand that, and I'm not accusing you of that.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is that when you look at those lyrics,
some of that shit was going on. Some of that shit was going on back then, and for that one particular song, that song was made up on experiences. I experienced that type of stuff. I've never ran a train on a girl until I met Luther. Not saying that Luther is all bad, but that was the kind of thing that was going on, you know, in Miami, you know, at that time.
Yeah.
You know, we got to Miami. It was sort of a lawless place where anything goes, and girls was there, and it was guys that was, you know, really like extrally on some thug and some, you know, some goon shit. And, you know, in Miami, it was nothing, you know, if you would hear guys say all the time, if I got rape license, That's what I heard in Miami. So, I used to see girls get abused and slapped for not participating.
So what was that like as a 14-year-old?
Well, at that time, I almost got raped a few times.
Okay.
Because I never told anybody, but I wrote in my book.
Yeah.
A lot of things that I wrote in my book, I couldn't help but cry and write,
Yeah.
But the reason why I didn't tell a lot of people or tell anybody was because I didn't want to hurt the people that tried to rape me and the ones that did rape me. I thought about their family. I didn't want to ruin their career, even though they weren't thinking about how they, what they did to me and how they made me feel. So the first incident, I was on tour with DJ Jealous J, and now he's the producer that did the Lollipop.
Okay.
So he was very respectful. He always looked out for me. I was 14, and he made sure that I was good, like nobody harassed me. So we went down to the Keys, the Florida Keys. He had a show, and Luke, everybody was performing. It was a big show. And Luke had a party, the after party, and we all went, I had boys protect me and, and watch over me. There was a new athlete that just got a major deal, football player. And he kept flirting, and they kept saying, she's 14, she's 14. Like, chill. They kept telling him that. So I'm very quiet and just, I'm used to just, okay, you know what I mean? Just so I won't offend anybody or not raise my voice because I saw how aggressive they are to other women. So, he's like, let's talk upstairs. And he was very persistent. And I was like, he was like, just talk. It's so loud, the music. And I went ignorantly. And we were upstairs and, he tried to rape me. And I told him, no, I want to leave. And he threw money at me and about how much, and kept throwing money at me. So I just said no. Like I said no. And we went back and forth and he just jumped on me. He's a football player. He was big, And I just started screaming, even though there was so much noise, like so much music. But thank God my peoples heard me and then they bust in and they started, she's underage, what are you doing, And he acted like he didn't care. Like he was above the law, that he was famous and rich. And they called me many a times when I got home, like, how much do you need to be quiet? I said, but nothing happened. He goes, yeah, but something did happen. But even though it didn't go all the way. But I didn't take any money. And I just said, I'll be silent. I won't say anything.
Well, Luke was one of those people that called you?
Yes.
Okay. How much did they offer you?
A lot of money. Because he just got a major deal, a football contract. Later on, I saw him a few times. I didn't say anything. And then as I got older, like in my late 20s, he apologized. I never saw that he ever raped anybody. He did well in his career, very, very well. He tried to even flirt. I was like, that's not going to happen. I thought that was weird. But, but I forgave him. I told him I forgive him, And then after I started going on tour, girls started grooming you. Like, this is what women do in the business. I started going to different parties. They started inviting me. And, it was just a lot of crazy shit. They had the girls, they called girls with a bag of tricks. So they actually brought dildos and other stuff to these parties, and ready to play and ready to do whatever they say to do, and they did. And these are not just regular girls. I saw actresses and singers, and I looked up to them. So if they're doing it, it has to be acceptable. I'm a teenager, and they're telling me this is what you do in this industry. This is what the parties are like. You know what I mean? To get in there, don't say no, don't do this. Initially, I played along. I did because that's what they were all doing, And then when I started saying no to certain things, I don't want to do it, they were being aggressive. And then one night, my girlfriend, I remember going in, but I don't remember leaving. And then I woke up somewhere else. But I remember they drugged me. But I remember certain faces, what happened. But I'm glad I don't remember it all. So, and those people I saw later. And they're huge. I don't mention their names because it's not worth it. But you have to act like it never happened. You have to be still accepted. Because I've been blackballed many times just because I said no. I didn't do nothing to them. I just didn't want to be a part of that world anymore. Yeah, I played along. You act like you're happy and you're alone because you want them to feel comfortable. Because they look at you like, are you going to tell anybody? Are you going to be a problem for me? And you're like, I'm not going to be a problem. I'm good. And that's how I was all my life, even growing up. I don't want to be a problem to my parents. I've learned to be quiet, not show feelings, not show emotion. And the same pattern as the industry. As an adult, they should have treated me like their daughter, like a sister. Some of them did. Don't get me wrong. They're all not like that. But a lot of them felt like you're just a piece of meat that we can abuse you, take you whenever we please. Initially, I did play along. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, you can see me happy in the videos. They say they got films of me. Yeah. I mean, I didn't live in grief. You know what I mean? I didn't play back things that happened to me. I was enjoying the moment, you know, with them. Even though you would never know that they hurt me or they beat me up or they slapped me around, you would never know if I'm smiling in a video with them. Because I've learned to block that out, that like it never happened.
Well, recently, didn't someone bring up a tape of an incident?
Which one?
Of an assault with a famous artist. At age 45, you were threatened with a tape of the assault, which brought back memories flooding back. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about the Diddy's security guard?
Is that what it is?
I guess. The one he said, oh, I got a tape of you when you were young.
Yeah.
Is that what he's saying? Yeah.
That's what that was. That's, what's his name? Say it? Gene Deal.
Yes. First of all, I never met Gene.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't know why he keeps saying my name. I guess because people pay him to talk and people listen when you say my name. So, first of all, I met Scott Storch because he said I met Scott Storch at 14. I met Scott Storch. I already had my son. He was 8, and we started dating. I was already in, 25 when I met Scott. I didn't meet Scott as a teenager. So all the lies that Gene's just, he's just lying.
Okay, so there's no validity in this.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not going to say there's no tape. When I was a teenager, I was in the mix with those people, with Luke and a lot of other people that around those parties, yeah. Did they have tapes of me? Probably. I was in their house. I was partying. You know what I mean? I did a lot of stupid shit. I followed along. I was a follower then. Yeah, for sure. But after 19, no. I started saying no. I never looked back. I have not seen Luke or any of them since I was 19 and I'm 46.
Wow.
And he wrote a book when I'm in my 20s about me, talking about me. Did radio runs about me. I was a teenager. I was a baby. That sounds like a little bit of a session. You know what I mean? You have so many girls that danced for you, but you kept bringing up my name.
Well, you're the most famous one.
Right.
Out of all the girls, to be honest. I mean, who are the other girls' names? I don't know.
Right.
And I actually know stuff like this. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you met DJ Laz when you were 14.
Yes, I did.
And you went on tour with him. You were on one of his album covers.
Yes.
But then at 15, you guys started sleeping together.
Yes.
And he was married at the time.
Yes.
And how old?
How old was I?
How old was he?
I think he's early 20s, probably 20, 21, something like 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were 15.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And how did that go?
How did that go? Initially, he and I think initially he treated me like a regular girl, like the other girls. Because a lot of girls come into games. You have certain girls that are down for whatever. You know what I mean? That want to be famous and want to do whatever it takes. I just wanted to be known. I wanted to be a dancer. I was already doing music. And I just wanted to be looked at as an artist. I didn't want to do all that extra shit that came along with this industry. And I didn't know how to express it. Like, just see me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. That's not me. I just want to enjoy being an artist, enjoy being a backup dancer. Why did it have to come off with all this? And then he started loving me. He started understanding me, that I did it for my family, that I'm on tour. You know, so he started getting to know who I am as a person. So, and he started protecting me. He started being a protector. You know, initially he was showing me off like a lot of the people. And then he was like, oh, you are different. Oh, okay, I'm going to protect you. And he did. He did. And then started getting closer and closer. And then we started having an intimate relationship. And he started telling me about his life, his wife, and things that, you know. So, yeah, I was super young.
Well, by 16, you started dating Mad Lion.
Well, it was the fall or whatever. I was still 15 when I dated Mad Lion.
Okay.
Yeah.
15 going into
yeah.
16.
Yeah, because I met him on tour. I was on tour with Kinsu, as another artist. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time, he had a hot song. He was
Yes.
sort of like the reggae hip-hop crossover guy.
Yes.
And I remember he had a run.
Yes, he
right
did.
around that time.
Yes, he did.
So you're dating him,
Yes.
and this is where the story gets a little fuzzy, depending on who you talk to.
Okay.
You meet Aaron Hall.
Okay, so me and Madeline were dating for a long time, for like over a year. Mm-hmm. And then on and off, you know, because we're traveling. I'm still in school, on and off in school.
I just want to note,
Oh.
I did the math.
Yeah?
You're 16, Madeline was 29 at the time.
16.
You were 16, and Madeline was 29.
Okay. Yeah, when I first met him, I was 15 when we started first dating.
So he was 28.
So he was 28. Okay. Yeah, I
Right.
didn't know how old he was.
Okay.
Yeah. I was talking about Laz. Laz, you were saying, I think Laz was like 20, 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say
but
Madeline. I don't know what
You
age.
consistently have this record of being underage and dating older men. This is like the 5th or 6th
Right.
guy that you're dealing with
Right.
as an underage girl.
Well, you gotta understand my environment. So my environment that I'm around older men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like doctors dating nurses. It's like teachers dating You're gonna date where your environment is.
it's not illegal to date a nurse.
No, I know. I'm not saying
A
illegal.
nurse doesn't get you a jail
No, I didn't
sentence.
say that. I understand what you're saying. No. I'm saying, but you're gonna have some type of intimacy. As it could just be friendship. They took it there as well.
I get it
Yeah.
when you're dealing with an underage girl. So
No, I'm not saying it's
regardless of the
right.
environment, that's like saying
Yeah.
teachers dating their students. So like, you know.
No, that of course. No, I'm
Right.
not saying it's right. Definitely
Yeah.
not right. Yeah.
Okay, I
I'm
just wanna
not
put
saying
that
it's
out
right.
there.
But I'm saying that when you're on tour with you get closer, people that you work with, you start,
Yeah.
getting personal with them.
Got
but
it.
that shouldn't have crossed the line. You're absolutely right.
Right. So you're at this point 16 dating a 29-year-old.
Right. Well, we started at 15 and then 16. In the middle of 16. How Can I Be Down? It was 95. It was in Miami. It's like a hip hop convention or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He was performing and I was dancing for a few, other artists. So we were both working that weekend. And I was walking on the beach with my girlfriends from high school, just walking on the beach and going to events and going to the pools and stuff like that. And I met Aaron. Aaron pulled over in a limo with Teddy and his brother Damien and was like, would you like to come? They were, I guess, giving an awards. And he was like, come to the award show with us, da-da-da. And I was like, I didn't know who he was. I told him decline, no. He was persistent. I still said no. I met him a few times on the beach. So we never met in a club. Nobody introduced us. He actually approached me a few times on the beach that weekend.
I interviewed Luke about this. He claimed that he introduced you to. He claimed that he knew Aaron Hall because he did this thing called Peep Show. And he did an interview with Aaron Hall, and he claimed that Aaron wasn't as freaky as R. Kelly. So Aaron said, oh, really? And he went to ate a girl's ass right there in front of everybody to show that he was freakier than R. Kelly. And that's how their relationship started. And he knew you already.
Okay.
So he claimed that he introduced you guys.
I think the best thing you could do is ask Gloria Velez who introduced who to who and how did that happen. And at what period of time was she a dancer in my group? At that period of time, she was a dancer. And I would get all these phone calls from her when she was staying with us. The best thing for you to do is ask her, how did she meet him? I ain't getting into no issue with him. When I met him, he was on the set of the Peep Show. And I mentioned, I was interviewing him and I mentioned, hey, look, R. Kelly is more freaky than you. And then he said, no, R. Kelly ain't more freaky than me. And he began to girls out on the camera. So if he wants to deny that, there's plenty footage of that as well. And at that period of time, his record label then started calling up saying, please don't show that. Please don't put that out, because he was getting ready to put an album out. And so the best person to answer that would be Gloria Velez, because at that period of time, she was a dancer for me.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Okay.
I would say that would be no big deal to say, but no, I didn't. He didn't introduce me to Aaron. And Aaron said it on your show too, that Luke did introduce him to me.
He said that he saw you and just
that didn't
basically
happen.
grabbed you.
Yeah, that didn't happen either. I mean, like he said, he wants to portray this type of pimp mentality. He just took me and slept with me and pulled me up into his room.
Right. He said he knew who you were because he saw you dancing for Luke.
Well, I don't know if he ever saw me dance, but Luke did introduce me to him.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's
Because
just what he
remember, they videotaped a lot of their shows and stuff
Right.
like that. So maybe he showed him me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, No, I met him on the beach.
Because I interviewed Aaron Hall,
Yeah.
as you know, and
Yes,
this
of
was
course.
a very explosive interview.
Yes, he's very animated, yes.
Luke said that he introduced you to Gloria Velez.
Luke didn't introduce me to no Gloria Velez. We can call Luke right now. You know what I mean?
He said it in an interview a while back.
Look what I'm saying to you. She was standing up with a Jamaican rapper named Mad Lion.
Okay, I know who that is.
Big Pun, Fat Joe, Method Man, like whoever you speak to, just ask them how I did it. I got out the limo, grabbed her hand, went upstairs and f***ed her. Luke didn't never introduce me to anybody.
But he's a compulsive liar at that too. He's like, if you sit down with him, the story will change consistently. So he's one of those.
Okay, so you meet Aaron, but then Mad Lion finds out about it?
So yeah, so I saw him on the beach a few times, and then he was like, let me take you and your girlfriends out to eat and shopping. So my girlfriend's like, let's go. You know, we're young. We're 16, let's go. Okay, what's food and, shopping? So we did, and when I was on my way back to the hotel, Mad Lion, the hotel, he could see, it was like a balcony. He could see from the front of us walking in, and he just started throwing my clothes over the balcony and screaming like, you slept with Aaron, da da da. I was like, what? Like, I was just weird because that didn't happen. But people were gossiping and saying they saw me with Aaron eating, and we were at the mall. So yeah, that was over for our relationship. And me being stubborn and just going home, I should have just went home. I said, oh, so you think I slept with him? I'm gonna call him and hang out with him just to get underneath his skin. And I did, and we never left each other after that.
Okay, because you were 16 and he was 31? Yep. Okay, once again.
Yep.
Same type of pattern.
Yep.
So now you start getting to this relationship with Aaron Hall, and you guys start sleeping together.
Yep.
And right after that, you get a tattoo?
Yep, days later.
Days later.
Days later.
I think he said 3 days in the interview.
Probably. Yep.
And the tattoo says Aaron's.
Apostrophe S.
Right.
Yes.
Now,
I mean, manipulation is a motherfucker, I'll tell you that. And I wanted to please him. He was saying all the right things. You got to understand my mentality at that time. I come from a broken home. He's an older man stating that, we can do this together. We could be a team. I got your back. And I was just looking for love. I was looking for someone to just be there for me. And I wanted protection in this industry. I was already been abused. I already been raped. Just a lot of things happened to me up until that time that I met Aaron, So I was a broken child, just wanting to be held and to be loved, really. I was looking for love. And he was so convincing. He was good, at that time. And he was like, well, show me you love me, you get a tattoo.
Well, yeah. Well, what I didn't mention is that tattoo was below your belly button.
Yes, it was.
Basically saying this is Aaron's
You're
pussy.
right, exactly. Right, claiming.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, exactly.
And you were okay with this?
Well, I mean, I'm 16.
Was this
my
your first tattoo? Your
First tattoo, yeah.
Right, I was going to ask.
First tattoo, yeah.
Okay,
First
quite a tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you guys get into this relationship.
Uh-huh.
And once again, you have a man that starts being abusive.
Yes. It didn't start off abusive initially. He was very loving. He was very loving, very romantic in the beginning, very passionate, until, we started traveling to like different states, and he was performing here and there, spot dates, and his manager at the time was living in Virginia, and they were stealing his money. He's not a good businessman. And he didn't have his own home. He was living out of hotels, or we would stay with his father in Jersey. So he was bad money management, super bad. Always been bad, that I've learned over time. And when he would get upset, he would become aggressive slowly. Then tell me how I put my makeup, how should I wear my hair, how should I dress, tell me how to shave. Like, I was young, I wasn't doing all that, higher heels, I swear to God, he was grooming me, seriously grooming me. But I was willing, because I was still a little girl. He was telling me how to be a woman, but I was okay with it at the time. Of course I was. He says he loves me. You know what I mean? He's gonna be there. We're gonna be a team. And then, it just got ugly. Don't look at men in the face for too long. You can only talk for a couple of minutes. Started choking out, pulling my hair. That's what little stuff first. And then then the hitting, the beating, and then I couldn't leave the hotel room. He would sick dogs on me, and if I even step on the floor, the dog would bark to try to bite me, so I won't leave him if he left the room or go somewhere. Yeah, it was that serious.
Well, you said he would beat you with gloves?
Yes, he would beat me with gloves, so he won't leave fingerprints on me. That's what he said, why he wore gloves. I asked him one night, because I wanted to know. Every time he would put gloves, it's a mental situation. Like when someone puts gloves and you know you're about to get beat, your heart starts racing, you know? Yeah, and he would never touch my face. It was always be body.
We talked about a situation where he dragged you to the bathroom and dunked your head in the toilet
Yep.
and tried to drown you, essentially?
He was just enraged. He gets enraged moments. And he was just enraged. Oh, I know why. We went to Brooklyn, and he told me to get my nails done with one of the girls, one of his friends. And she was an older woman, and she was telling me, you need to leave him, that he has other children. She was just breaking it down, you need to run. And we took longer than he wanted us to. But that was his friend, and he told me, you know, but I got beat because we took too long. He broke the nails on my fingers. And he used to play games like turn off all the lights. He came from an abusive family background as well. So the games he used to play with me to beat me up, they did to him when he was a child. So he would say, hide, and I'm gonna find you, then I'm gonna beat you up. Shit like that to mind fuck me. You know what I mean? And then that's the night that, you know, he dunked my head and he was just beating me up. But I was like screaming like a different scream, and it woke him. It was just like a different scream. And then he handed me a knife and he said, I know you want to kill me, Gad, but I wasn't gonna do it, you know? So, but a lot of mental manipulation.
There was a situation where he choked you?
Yeah, many times he choked the shit out of me. That was his thing too. Choking and hitting below. Yeah.
Well, after New Year's of that year, you became pregnant.
Yes. Yeah. Holidays were the worst when he got really abusive. I want to say this because his mother died during Christmas time when he was younger, and he goes into a deep depression. So it was like every night then. So right before I got pregnant, it was really bad. So when I got pregnant, I was like, this is not gonna happen. How the fuck I get out of this? You know what I mean?
Right, because you just turned 17.
I just turned 17.
He's 32.
Yes.
Almost twice your age.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're pregnant
Yes.
and things don't get better.
No. Now I'm his property. Totally, he feels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, around this time, he starts hanging around death row.
Yes. Yes. He was going to be signed to death row.
Right, I remember he had a bunch of songs with death row, with Tupac.
Yes, he did.
What were the songs? Toss It Up.
Yes.
And was there another song?
They did a few songs.
Yeah, but Toss
Yeah.
It Up was the big one.
Yes.
Right, it was with Jodeci and Danny Boy and Tupac.
That's right.
And Aaron Hall.
Yeah.
Okay, because at that point, Guy had broken up.
He was, I guess, trying to go solo.
Yeah.
He was going solo. Him and Teddy has a hate-love relationship.
Right, I've interviewed
So-
Teddy about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a hate-love relationship. Yeah, so, you know, and he needed money. His manager robbed him blindly. He's one of those artists that lets his manager sign his checks, pay his bills. Should do it yourself. So he mismanaged all his money. And we were staying with his father. And then when Suge hit him up for the deal, we both flew to LA so we can record, do music videos, and I guess be down with the team.
Right. You said when you met Suge Knight, when you were with Aaron, Suge just gave you a stack of money?
We tried to. So it's like a testing thing.
Huh.
You know, handing me money, and I saw what they do in this industry is they give you money, they give you things, and then you do what they say. I already learned that as a teenager, so I knew not to take it. I mean, especially, you know, how crazy he was, so I knew not to take money from another man at that.
Right, 'cause you said Aaron was kind of nervous around Suge Knight.
Hugely nervous.
Why is that?
Suge would go around with empowerment. He had always a bunch of men around him with guns, and, you know, the environment that around him was heavy. You know, you felt that heaviness. even though Aaron had his demons and his heaviness, this man overpowered that heaviness. So you felt it in your chest when you were around him then, you know? He felt unstoppable. He didn't have light in his eyes. It was darkness. Yeah.
Okay, because around this time, Tupac started coming by the hotel and having conversations with Aaron.
Yes.
When you were around.
Yes.
So what are these conversations about?
Well, I heard bits and pieces of it, even though the room wasn't big. You know, they were discussing contracts. They were discussing, you know, I don't want to say too much, but, you know, just things that were happening around them both. They were like brothers. They loved each other, literally. Pac loved him. Aaron loved him. They kind of felt like they were compatible, like they understood each other when they talked.
Okay, so Tupac requested Aaron to be on that song.
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
They
got
were
it.
buddies, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so they're hanging out and you get to know Tupac a little bit
Yes.
at this point.
Yes.
What was Tupac like at that junction?
He was a breath of fresh air. He was a light. He made Aaron calm his soul. Like, he was nice to me when he was around Aaron. No, just got him talking. He's like, that's a queen. He tried to, like, you know, tell him, don't hit her, don't do this, you know, trying to school him, like, you don't do that, you know. She's pregnant, you know, you got to be careful. She's too skinny, because I was like losing weight instead of gaining weight. So I was
Right.
like a size like 0-1. Like, I was so thin.
Wow.
I was depressed. I couldn't eat. I was going through a lot, you know.
Because you're 4 months pregnant at this point.
Yes, I was 4 months pregnant.
Okay, so Tupac is coming by. Aaron is potentially signing to Death Row, which he ended up never signing.
I don't know if the contracts went through or not. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you never saw an Aaron Hall Death Row
No.
project.
Well, everything broke up after, when we left LA 3 months later, Pac died.
Right.
So that whole, everything fell apart.
Got it.
All the deals, because Casey JoJo was there. It was so many black young artists from rap, from R&B were going to be signed to them.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
MC Hammer.
yeah, MC Hammer was around. Bow Wow was around.
It was so many.
Eric B was around. Jodeci, of course.
Yes.
Mary J. Blige.
It was going to be huge. That label was going to
Yeah,
be,
it was supposed to be Death Row West. Were you in the studio with Aaron when he was working
I
with
went
Tupac?
a few times.
Huh.
I went a few times to the studio, but the environment was not for a female. Let's just put it that way. So he advised me to stay, you know, at the hotel when he started doing these, you know, hanging out and networking and being around the boys. It just wasn't safe. He didn't feel safe. And sometimes he didn't want to go, but he felt obligated to go.
Okay. So you talked about a situation that Tupac saved you from.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, so they had a Mother's Day event for the label. So everybody's mothers were there, and, you know, their sons were performing for them. It was beautiful. But up until that point, like days before, Aaron was like so antsy. He was more than normal because, you know, you could see he's all over the place. But he was more, do you love me? Prove it. Picking fights, just extremely stressed out. And then the day before, Pac was with me and Aaron had to do whatever. And Pac was just trying to calm me and tell me that everything's gonna be okay. Aaron's just taking care of some business. So once we rolled up into the venue, Aaron was very aggressive and like, stay with me. Don't leave my side. Don't walk away. No restroom, no nothing. Just stay right here. Like, just very, I mean, he's always demanding, but this was a little bit different. Before we walked in, into the doors, a woman approached us. And she was like 70 or something like that. She grabbed my belly. I'm not showing. And she said, he's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And told Aaron, protect her. Your son is going to be good. We didn't know it was going to be a boy or girl. I never did prenatal care. We never went to a doctor, nothing. So it kind of gave him light and hope because he already had 2 girls at the time. And that said that the baby was going to be healthy. So it changed his demeanor walking totally into the venue. And then we walked to the venue, we took some pictures, there was a lot of video cameras, and we walked to the back. And then he just said, sit there. And then mayhem started.
What kind of mayhem?
A girl that was allegedly signed to, I think, Suge. She was a heavyset girl. She went up to Aaron and they were talking and then being
Jewel?
aggressive. I don't know her name. Honestly, don't know her name.
Okay.
But she was aggressive, and I thought they were maybe had something. I thought maybe they had a relationship or were talking. And he was trying to calm her, and she was screaming and screaming at me, and I'm screaming back. I'm thinking, it's the, love triangle, whatever. And when she tried to approach me, she got around him. Then I knew it was serious. It was something else. And then the guy started moving towards me, and then Pac ran. He was on stage at the time. He ran towards me, and then Aaron. And when Pac moved, people shift and they listen. And he grabbed her up and dragged her outside and said, "Nobody touch her. That's wifey," saying that I'm his wifey. And then he handled the whole situation. He calmed everything. And then when he came back in, he was like, "Don't stay here long, leave." And then never come back to California. And that's what we did. We left. We never turned back. He never turned back. But Aaron did a lot of things when he was out there, and he used to cry at the hotel when he came back from meetings and stuff like that. It was traumatizing for him as well, So they put a lot of pressure on artists in these labels to do things that they don't want to do, to have video, to have things above your head so you can be controlled, So he had to have done things because he was crying and praying to God on his knees that please be forgiveness. He was asking for forgiveness of whatever he did that night and other nights, and it was messing with him.
Okay, so you guys go back to Florida.
No, we actually went to Jersey to his father because he didn't have a place, so
Okay.
we just lived with his father.
Okay. Was it around that time Aaron wanted you to get an abortion?
Aaron never asked for an abortion.
No?
No. His father said you should, told me that I should get an abortion because it's going to get worse. Yes.
Okay. Because you end up leaving by yourself and going back to Florida.
Well, yes. Aaron had a show in another country, and his father convinced him to leave me because I was already like 7 months pregnant, and said he'll watch me. Don't worry, I got her. And then once he left, he says, "I'm going to fly you home. Don't turn back." And I was ready to go.
So Aaron's father
Yes.
basically
Saved
flew
me.
you back.
Yes.
So 7 months pregnant.
Yes.
You go back to Florida.
Yes.
And then you give birth by yourself.
Well, no, when I go home, I kind of I wanted, now I'm coming back to chaos. Like, okay, my mom's on welfare, on Section 8. Now, what is she going to say? You know what I mean? I've been gone for so long, you know what I mean? Not saying anything. And when I told her, I sat her down, I was like, "Mom, I'm pregnant." She was like, "You're going to keep it?" I said, "I'm far along." She didn't believe me. But when we checked, I was that long because I wasn't showing. I was so skinny. And then I was like, "He's abusive." There was no hugs. There was no tears from her. And I was crying, trying to connect with my mom somehow to get an understanding. But it was nothing. It was nothing. It was like, well, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to take care of this. That financially everything was on me. She was not going to help, which I kind of figured that anyways, because she wasn't motivating. She wasn't paying no real bills. The government was paying our bills. Mm-hmm. So, I got on, the government helped me pay for my, my birth. And I was in touch with Aaron, trying to co-parent with him because he wanted to be there for his son. I found out it was a boy. And I tried to be friends with him. I believed that hopefully we could be friends. So he flew down and he saw his, he got his son, and we were at the room, and he tried to leave with him, like actually escape from the hospital with the baby, with Damien, and we had security come up. It was chaos. Even,
He tried to steal the baby.
Yes, out the room.
Crazy.
Yeah. So we
he's
had
not really
security.
stealing the baby. I mean, it's his baby, but still,
Well, I mean,
you're
you
taking
can't
it away
just
from the mother.
you can't just run like,
Right.
dude, what are you doing? Yeah, no. So he just wanted control, wanted me. He knew if he took the baby, I'm coming along with it. So that was his mentality from that point on. If he had rights over the baby, that I love my son, that my life changed. When I gave birth, now something to fight for, something to love that was mine.
Yeah, and you named him Aaron Hall the fourth.
Yes, I did.
So fourth generation.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Okay, so the co-parenting thing is not going very well.
No, I tried it back and forth at the hotel. He tried to, influence me and convince me to come back. I just wasn't having it. But he was having massive sex. Like, he would wait for girls at McDonald's at the high school, picking up high school girls. And he wasn't the only one doing that. There was a lot of people doing that. But he was still, I'm like, okay, you have relationships. Let's just co-parent. You know what I mean? But it didn't matter. He could have a relationship, but he wanted me as his main. But I didn't want to go back. So we started going through court. He wanted custody of his child. And we were back and forth. It was a headache. It was a lot of money. That's when I started dancing. I started stripping because he had top lawyers. He had, at the time, this man that was financing his new album. And he wanted to make Aaron happy. So he got top lawyer to try to get full custody of my son.
Okay.
So I started fighting, and just submitting paperwork was $500, this, $1,000. Like, it was so much money. I didn't have it, so I started stripping to win custody over my son.
You were 17 or 18 at that point?
I just turned 18.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And at one point, you actually snitched on Aaron.
Well, yeah. Okay, so we're going through courts for like a year, right? And I had restraining order on him because of the violence and everything. And I had proof of him threatening me, trying to set me up to get jumped. He did a lot of things throughout the whole time. My son's coming back bruised up, smelling like weed. We had a guiding light to protect the baby. He was paying people off, paying my family members to go against me. It was chaotic. And I felt betrayed by a lot of people. I tried to go to the cops, show them proof of bruises on my son. They basically, your kid has to be like half dead for them to do anything. And it doesn't matter if he beat me or show proof. I had recordings of him, like video, like, because you used to leave a message, on your home phone. Threatening, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? He could still have custody of the baby. So that was insane to me. So I felt like I had to save my son and me. I had no choice. The cops were not going to protect me. My mom, my family went against me because he was paying them off. So I said, okay. I discarded the restraining order. I went back. He had a house in Sunrise. And I tried to play house with him. So I said, okay, how am I going to get rid of this motherfucker? So he had a lot of dogs. He had over 30 dogs. And he's not a very nice dog trainer. Okay, he's very aggressive with the dogs.
What kind of dogs?
Pit bulls, bull mastiffs. He has many breeds,
Got it.
And he used to train them in German. And I started learning, and controlling the dogs, and sometimes I used to turn them against him when he used to hit me. They used to grill at him, and they loved me. So long story short, a lot of them died. Some from his hands, and dogs attacking each other because he was very aggressive and made them fight and stuff like that, And he would bury them in his backyard and other people's backyard and other around the neighborhood. It's a real ritzy area. So I said, people love dogs more than humans, more than children and more than wives and more than girlfriends. So if I say that this is where he buried the dogs, he would go to jail. But he won't go to jail beating me up half to death or injuring his child. But if a dog dies, the world's in chaos. Oh my God. So I called the news. I said, I'll do an episode of talking about my life, of the abusive relationship. And then you'll do an episode just, not that I said anything, where the dogs were buried, that those are his dogs. And yeah, it was right. It was all over the news. A couple of his friends went to jail. He fled Florida and never came back. And I never saw him after that.
Right, because I remember when I did the interview with him, this was around 2013, he said he hadn't seen his son in like 15 years.
Yeah, the last time you see him, my baby would just turn 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just turned 2. His birthday's in October.
So he still hasn't seen him to this day?
No, they saw each other when he finished high school, 18. I let him start the relationship because he was old enough and, have a relationship. I think he was old enough to get a feel of him and get his own opinion of him. I never bashed my son's father with my son. I never told him in detail what happened. When they started having a relationship in the beginning of 18, my son started visiting him out here in LA. He used to live out here. It was awkward because he thought that I told him everything, the beatings, he thought. And then one night he broke down. This is going to be my second book, but he broke down to my son and said, I'm sorry what I did to your mom. And he said the last time with the beating was really bad. I had my son in my hands and he was just beating me. And I was covering him. He kept saying, that's not my son because he's so light-skinned. And he would just bug out. Like he would just trip. I didn't have to do anything. He would just go crazy. And my son went silent, but I thought the blows hit my son. So I said, oh my God, he's dead. I thought, it knocked him out or something. And I ran to another room, put my baby down. And my baby said, no, mommy. And then, Yeah, and then he just stopped beating me that day after that, but I wasn't allowed to leave until days later. And that's when I went to the news and told him where the dogs were buried. And then, yeah, I never saw him after that. Face to face, never saw him after that in 19.
Okay.
But they did have a relationship. And, yeah, he was very mood swinging. One minute he'd be like, I love you, son. Next minute it was like calling him Gloria Velez. He's very weird. And then he just recently went on tour before the Diddy thing happened. You know, my son was trying to bond with him and with his son, because now I'm a grandmother, he's a grandfather. And that relationship, I'm gonna write it more depth in the second book, but Aaron's all over the place. He started over our relationship. You know, one minute he'll be loving to my son, and the next minute will lash out and try to belittle my son and diss me. You know, that relationship's been gone a long time ago. You don't have to do that. You know, one minute he says he regrets doing what he does, what he did to me, and wish we were together. The next minute, he would call me out my name to my son and try to get a reaction to my son. You know what I mean? And pick fights with other artists that he thought I had relationship with. That's how crazy he still was after all these years down the line. He never got over it.
Well, one last question before we get off the Aaron Hall subject. The interview, the part of the interview that really went viral was when he said that people like Diddy would watch him have sex with other women.
Right.
I like the fucking public, you feel me?
Yeah.
So can't say nothing about it. Them square, them precious cake little.
Yeah.
I like for them to see how I like. If you speak to Jodeci or Puffy or any of them, they been at my house. They all see me. They all know I'm a big.
Have you experienced? Did you guys ever have like freak offs or anything else like that?
No, me and him never had. No,
Okay.
we never had threesomes. Never. No.
Never. Okay.
He had other women, and they did things we didn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you heard that, were you surprised?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not surprised. I mean, he told me stories, but I'd never been to a party with him. He didn't like to party.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't go to parties. We didn't do those events. I've never been to a Luke party with him ever. Like, we never had that. No. It was basically him on the road and his father's house.
Okay, so now you leave Aaron permanently.
Yes.
And you're 18, you're on your own, and you're on welfare and food stamps.
Well, no. Okay, so when I hit 18, anybody under the household that's, taking food stamps, welfare, or Section 8, you have to sign a paper legally stating that, okay, you're going to go under these rules. You can only make this certain amount of money. If you make over, you lose benefits or whatever. So, I mean, I told my mom I don't want to, be under those laws and have to show proof or ask the government for this. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to do that. And I told her, no, I'm going to make my own money. I don't need I'm not signing those papers. And she said, well, you got to take care of all of us. So she put that pressure on me, young baby, just turned 18, and I did it. I just didn't want to be the same like her. And I took that pressure on, and I took care of them for a long time until my second child was almost 5 years old. I took care of my whole family.
This whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were stripping, but then at one point you tried to transition to modeling.
No, I was always modeling since I was 14.
Okay.
Yeah. I only stripped for a year to fight for custody. I only stripped for a whole year to fight for custody. That's
so now
it.
you got your custody.
Yes, and I stopped.
Aaron's
I went
gone.
back on tour. Yeah, I went out with Laz, still with Laz. I did a little bit more with Laz, and then with other artists as well. And then I was signed with Shangri-La. I started doing music with Disco Rick, I have songs with so many people. I started flying, people down from New York to help me write and, getting different flows. Then I started doing music videos. So I was already had a music contract. I was still on tour making money. I was modeling left and right, so I was making money from every avenue.
Yeah.
And then started hosting a little bit. And then I was signed to a label. So whatever I need, they gave.
Well, R. Kelly approached you at one point?
He did, actually, a few times. But yeah, he did.
I remember I even asked Aaron when I interviewed him about the similarities between him and R. Kelly in terms of the presentation, the singing style, and so forth.
Right.
I forgot what the answer was, but basically R. Kelly respected him, is what Aaron said.
He did.
What was the situation with you and R. Kelly?
Okay, so a few times R. Kelly called him, and I was there present, and he put the phone on. I was listening, and he used to cry to Aaron, which is oddly strange. Yes.
R. Kelly used to cry to Aaron Hall.
I swear to you.
I didn't see this one coming.
And you know, I guess they had some type of bond, weird bond, because Aaron didn't really like him, but you know, yeah, it's just weird. But he would tell him things that was happening to him as well in this industry, and how he was losing himself and stuff like that. And Aaron could relate, and he apologized for taking his image, that he was kind of influenced to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't, you know, his thing that he wanted to take, you know. So later it was like 19. I was either I'm trying to think, Freaknik or Daytona Beach, one of those. I met him again, R. Kelly, and he pulled up and was like, "We need to do a song together. It would be controversial. Let's do this." And at first I was like, "Yeah, that would be great," you know. You know, I didn't know who he was. Like, you know, I knew who he was as an artist, but I didn't know behind the scenes who he was.
Okay, but he was a huge artist at this point.
Of course.
It's R. Kelly.
Exactly. So
I mean,
I'm excited.
Multi-generational talent. I mean, essentially the biggest talent since Michael Jackson.
That's right. Exactly.
And you said no to doing a song with him, being inspiring?
No, I said yes.
Oh, you said yes?
Yeah,
Then what
I
happened?
said, of course. So we didn't do it right then and there because it's an event. He said, "Oh, call me." So we started calling each other. At the time, he had a studio in Orlando, and I was living in Broward. So he's like, "Come up here." It was a house studio, and he was like, "Come, let's record." I'm driving by myself up. So when I pull up, someone comes out to the car, and he goes, "Once you go in, anything goes." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" He says, "Once you go in, you can't say no. So whatever he says to do, you do." And I'm like, he just wanted me to know those are the rules. So I sat in my car and was like, I can't do that. I can't fathom that. What am I gonna walk into and what am I gonna go through? And I already been through so much for a song, I can't do that. So I went home. I drove right the fuck home. I said, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that happened a lot in this industry, that they give you ultimatums to be in a movie, to do this, to do that. I mean, men go through it too, because I've heard horror stories from other men as well. You know, so they don't just do it to women.
Were you surprised years later what happened to R. Kelly? I mean, first the sex tape.
Yeah.
You know, they came out, he beat that, but then after surviving R. Kelly, more came out, and ultimately he's in prison, probably for life at this point.
No, I don't. It doesn't surprise me. A lot of them feel like they're untouchable. You know, like I said, it's so. It feels like to them it's natural. They do it every day. They do it all day. I mean, didn't I read that even during the beginning of the trial or the accusations of Diddy, he was still having, you know,
free cuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed one of the guys that was doing it with him.
So what I'm saying is that they're so consumed with the sex, they're so consumed with the drugs, they're consumed with the partying, you know, that they see no wrong in that, you know? I don't know, but yeah. I don't, yeah, R. Kelly, yeah.
Well, around this time, you're still working with Luke.
No, I stopped working with Luke at 19.
At 19, okay, because...
But I did go back, like, right after Aaron, he left.
Yeah.
We did a few shows, Luke and I.
Okay, and one of them was in Cancun.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Right, and I remember this got released, I think in 2001. It was Luke's Peep Show, Volume 1.
Yes.
And you're kind of all over this video.
Yeah.
And there's a video of you and this other girl.
Yes.
And you're eating pussy with a huge group of men around.
Yes.
And some of them are trying to grope you and everything else like that. How do you feel about that footage now?
I'm gonna tell you how I end up there and back in Luke's circle, because I didn't talk to him for a long time through the whole Aaron Hall thing or anything after. A lot of things transpired when I was a teenager. A lot of devastating things happened when I used to hang out with him. So I swore myself that I would never go back or ever speak to him. When I see him, I just didn't say anything to him, you know? I met a girl at Black Gold magazine release. I was doing a lot of magazines. I started doing a lot of covers, a lot of layouts. And she was there. She was also a cover girl, but she also was a Luke dancer. And she was flirty. She was very attentive. And she basically targeted me. Girls are groomers as well and try to lure you into situations. And she was one of them. And she targeted me. And we started dating. And I was over men in a situation because I was beat. I just got over the Aaron Hall thing. And I just felt broken and alone. And she was relatable. She had a son too. She came from an abusive relationship. And she convinced me to dance back with Luke. And I did a few shows with him. And that was one of the shows in Cancun. She's not in that video, though. She didn't make that trip.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I was young. Like I said, I fell in line. It was normal to me. That was no big deal at the time. You know what I mean? Even though you could tell my face like I'm there, but not there. A lot of times I can see my glossy eye just being, just doing what's told. When he told me to do that, I did it. Fuck, you know what I mean? You. Oh my God, you're so conditioned to do what you're told so you can still be around, so you won't be seen as a problem, as a nuisance, you know? So I fell in line. I did, like a lot of people. I fell in line.
How'd you feel when the video got released?
I was angry.
Like a few years later.
Yeah, I was angry, of course, because I was at a different place later down the line. I was no longer there, you know? I had people around me that started protecting me from the streets. I didn't hang out with a lot of industry people that hurt me. So, and I was confused because it was years later and he kept lingering that one video, you know, and kept talking about me, dragging me. And I was at a different place in my time, you know, and that he made me, and he just kept on and I kept ignoring him. I said nothing, I kept silent, you know, and he had a vendetta. Like, it was just weird. He didn't stop. And yeah, now it's my time to talk. It's, you know, to paint a narrative of a child. I was a teenager, you know, experiencing things and learning from adults that were teaching me the wrong thing. And I had to deprogram myself that this is not what life really is. This is not normal.
You were 19 when you did the Cancun video?
Yes, I was 19.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were an adult at that point?
Well, that point, yes. But a
Yeah.
lot of things transpired before then. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're still at 19. You're still not fully, you know,
Yeah.
your mental
You're still a
state. Yeah,
teenager.
you're still young-minded. Yeah.
Well, you meet Hype Williams at one point.
Yes, I did.
And during this era, he was the absolute king of
Yes, he
music
was.
videos.
Yes, he was.
All the biggest music videos, didn't matter what genre, which artist, they all wanted a high budget Hype Williams
Yes.
video. And back then you'd have $1 million budgets for music videos.
Yeah.
And you were right in the middle of that whole mix.
Yes.
And Hype chose you as one of his like go-to girls?
No, not initially. No, he never chose me.
No?
It wasn't him that chose me.
Okay.
So, when I first, this is my last conversation I had with Luke. Luke called me. He was trying to reel me back in. He was like, oh, Jay-Z got a video in Miami. Come down with Timberland, Lobster and Shrimp song. And he's looking for girls. He don't like the girls on set. And I was hesitant to go because, you know, I didn't trust him. And I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it because I lived in Broward. It was a little bit of a drive. So I went down, Jay-Z's on a platform performing, and I was like, yo, Jay-Z, you know, and then he was like, her in the car. So that was my initial meet of Jay. And I'm driving the car, well, fake driving, you know. And on set, I met Irv Gotti. And on set, I met Ja Rule. New artist, new album. And it's like, in 2 weeks, we're going to Brazil. I would love for you to be the main girl. So it wasn't Hype, it was Irv that initially wanted me in the Holla Holla video. And then when I did the Big Pimpin' video, it was Margot. She worked for the label. We became really close. She did a lot of casting for Def Jam. And she'd be like, would you like to do this video? So that's how I got a lot of videos, and I chose my videos because of Margot. And I was like, I would love to do Big Pimpin'. And even though at that time me and Jay-Z weren't speaking, I was just gonna get a check and I was just gonna sleep in the trailer and just, you know, be with her and hang with her the whole day in Miami. But I ended up meeting Pimp C on my way to the venue, you know, on set, so.
Well, you and Jay-Z, there was a situation with him and another girl.
Yeah, my girlfriend, the one
Keisha.
that was, yes.
Right. What happens?
Well, okay, so me and Keisha that was my only and first ever had a girlfriend relationship. You know, she initially was put on me to groom me, you know, initially to lure me in situations, back into that mix because I was pulling out. And we became close and it changed, the dramatic change, you know what I mean? So we ended up doing a lot of things going on tour together with other artists and performing and hanging out. So I wanted to date a man. Like, it was nice. I guess I was going through something too, you know. When you get beat or whatever, men become disgusting. And the trauma that I went through, I just didn't want to be touched by a man then at that time after that. You know what I mean? Her touch was sensual. It was sweet. She understood. She listened. And I never, ever, like, told anybody certain things that I told her, you know. And she didn't look at me different. You know, it was just, she understood. So I felt close to her. But dealing with a woman and a man, it's basically the same. The jealousy comes, you know, it's a relationship is a relationship. But I still wanted that man. I just wanted a man. I just wanted a man relationship. I liked her, I loved her, but I wanted to pull away and she didn't want to let go. So I started talking to Jay, we started dating, we were in a club, we're all hanging out together, all of us. And we go back to the hotel. She couldn't drive home, she was drunk, so she was supposed to sleep in the couch or whatever. I go to the restroom and I come out and they're, you know, doing things, you know? So, but I already told her hands off, you know? And then he was like, is this okay? I didn't want to say no, it's already happening, you know? So I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead, keep going, you know? At that point in my life, I always was very passive, you know, okay, you know, didn't try to cause an argument or make anyone feel uncomfortable. That's how I was groomed to be. Everything's okay. You know, don't be a problem. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll watch. But I was hurt inside, like super devastated. Like I told her not to do that. I was feeling him, you know. And then afterwards he felt, and he felt my vibe was different. And he was like, man, I'm sorry. You should have told me, which I should have. I should have spoke up. But I wasn't used to speaking up at that time. And I stopped talking to both of them. I just let it go. And then I started finding new friends and just finding new position in my life of not being in that world anymore. So I started letting go. So he kind of felt like, I guess, like, you're not talking to me, you're not picking up my phone. So he felt a certain way. So when Big Pippin came, he was like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? So, so we wasn't talking. It was like nothing malice or, you know, we had a big beef or anything. No, I just didn't respond to his calls or call them ever again after that incident happened.
Well, but then in 2001, you're 23 at the time, Benny Boom books you for the Uchiwali
Yes.
video, which is Nas and the Bravehearts.
Yes.
And there was a girl there that was dating Jay-Z.
Yes.
And Nas wanted to have a threesome with you and the girl.
Yes.
It's interesting because I interviewed Nas's baby mama, Carmen, and she talked about how she was messing with Jay-Z after having Nas's baby. So the love lives of Nas and Jay-Z are really kind of intermixed in many ways, which I think has caused a lot of that early beef and so forth.
Right.
So what happens here in this Nas video?
So, Jesus. Okay, so we were shooting all day. I'd known Benny for a long time. So he was like, bring girls out, you know, the video was beautiful. So we all hung out. Nas and we're cool. There was nothing ever sexual between me and him. We always were friends. He's very respectful. That whole like day, I even brought my little brother to set. That's how calm it was. So we go back to the hotel, we're all hanging out, people are smoking weed and doing things. So then, you know, he started like, you know, come into the room, let's do this, let's do that. I was like, nah, I'm good. And we're both still young, you know, we're both still young. We was 19, gonna be 20. And she was she's from the islands. She was dating Jay. They were very serious, and she was working for Rockefeller at the time, the clothing line. So he put her in position. Rockaware, yeah. And, but she was naive to the industry, you know, she's just getting into it. So there's a lot of manipulation. She was, man. So yeah, I told her that was not a good idea. And she told me that he said that she didn't want him hanging out with me because I would influence her. But, you know, go figure. So I watched them have sex. I didn't, you know, participate in any of that. And I guess he found out or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it got crazy.
Jay-Z found out.
Yeah, because he was really into her. He really loved her.
Oh, Jay-Z found out that his girlfriend slept with Nas.
Yes.
Okay. After Nas's baby mom slept with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the timeline, but yeah it's a whole clusterfuck, basically.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
okay.
is. Because, like, you know, there's a rule. Like, you know, if someone's serious that you love, it's hands off. Everybody knows.
I mean, when the two of them started beefing, when I mean, Jay-Z dissed him, and then Nas came back with Ether, and then
Right.
Super Ugly, and then baby seats, you know, condoms in the baby seat, and all this type of stuff. What did you think of all that? Considering that you knew both of them to a
Yes.
certain degree.
Well, I mean, men get feelings too, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you love a woman, you know, you get feelings, especially if the next man's gonna sleep with them, you know? And he was sleeping with other women too, but she couldn't sleep with anybody else, you know, because he was out there, obviously, you know, and to sleep with your rival, you know what I mean? That's, I told her not to do it. I told her not to do it, but it happened, and, but she's happy now. She has children, she was married. Yeah, we're still in touch. She went through a
Okay.
lot of shit in her life as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
And you were also in the Ghostface Killer, Shay Shayla Ghost.
Yes. So was she. She was in that
Oh,
video
really?
too. Yeah, she almost got raped in that video. Yeah. That was the most toxic environment. It wasn't anybody from Wu-Tang per se, it was their entourage. They were very aggressive. They felt like Vixens were at their leisure of touching, and, you know, like it was okay. Like they believed the rumors of Vixens, you know, that they were hoes and, you know, they can do whatever to us. So it was, oh God, it wasn't a happy set at the end, not in the beginning of shooting it, at the end. And Little X at the time slowly started letting girls leave, because if he lets too many go, they were being aggressive to him, the entourage. So yeah, that was a toxic environment at the end of that shoot.
Well, you started dating a guy named Charlie.
Yes.
You got pregnant.
Well, yeah, not initially. Yeah, I met him at like 21. Yes, I met him 21. Yes, and I did get pregnant.
And you got an abortion.
I did get an abortion. I felt obligated to get an abortion. I felt, man, at the time I just signed a deal with Cash Money and Ronnie Jerkins.
Okay, I know
Yeah,
Rodney.
yeah, and I was in a studio. Everything was going amazing, you know. Family life, meaning I could pay all the bills. I was taken care of. We're going on trips. Everything was pretty good, you know what I mean? And when I got pregnant, I was like, damn, this will stop everything, you know? But then I didn't want to get an abortion, you know, to go through that. My mom was trying to convince me heavily, like, don't have a baby. You can't do this to us. And it was so brand new with me and Charlie that he didn't give me his opinion on it. He just said, I respect anything that you do. Whatever you do, I'm for you. And then when I did get it done, it was devastating. I cried the way in, on the way out. And then he told me he wished I didn't do it after the fact. You know, then he expressed himself, you know. He didn't feel comfortable expressing beforehand, you know. And my mom was so hard on me to get an abortion, and then a couple of months later, she tells me she's pregnant. But I can take care of her baby, her new baby. But she influenced me to get an abortion. And I told her she can keep it, and I'll help her, and I did. I bought the crib. I bought the clothes. Not from my father. It was from a new guy that she was dating that was a police officer.
Well, Charlie at the time was married with 2 kids.
I didn't know Charlie was married. So with that situation, we were dating over a year and a half already. He's living with me, I'm living with him. We're traveling from New York. We're traveling on the road. I'm on tour mixtapes. I got a tour bus. And he got into a motorcycle accident. So we're already deep in a year and a half. He's in a hospital. His leg's up, IV'd. I'm visiting him. I'm sitting beside him. This lady comes in and says, hey, I'm his wife. Okay, walks in the door. And I look like state of shock. I looked at him and I was like, what? She goes, nice to meet you. And she tells me the car I'm driving, just a bunch of things that she knew of me. But I didn't know of her, but she knew of me. And they started arguing, bickering, and I was like, what the like I was in state of shock. So I'm still young, but I just turned 22, gonna be 23, and they started arguing. She goes, are you gonna leave her? So she was explaining basically that he has women, this is what happens, but he still goes back to her, to the wife. But this got too serious, so she had to step in. And he told her that I want a divorce and I love her. And she jumped him right there with his leg up, IV'd in. Cops came, and the cops basically told me, you're too young for this situation. I didn't know. He lied about his age, first of all. Men lie too. And they said, you're too young to be in a situation. He was almost in his 40s. I did not know that. He told me he was in his 30s. So yeah, but I wasn't ready to leave him. I loved him. We already were in for over a year and a half, you know? And yeah, he said he was getting divorced. He was to file for papers, but I told him, you do it for you. You can't do it for me. Doesn't mean I'm going to marry you, you know? And after that situation, our relationship was a little rocky because I didn't trust him.
Well, yeah, because you guys end up breaking up, getting back together.
We never initially broke up. We never broke up. No. We stood together. It was rocky, but we never left each other.
Right, because I think I met you right around that time. This was like maybe 2002, 2003. We had a photo shoot with the Source magazine.
Yes.
This was my first ever photo shoot in life. Like
Yeah.
I just moved to New York. I was DJ Vlad, the mixtape DJ, and it was me and Lazy K. We're in a shot together. Then DJ Ferris was there.
Yes.
And you guys had a shot together.
We
I remember
did,
you
we
came
did.
in with, was that Charlie who came with you that day?
He
Remember
probably
there was
did.
a guy with like a mink and so forth. And I'm
Yes,
like,
probably was him. Yes,
I'm like, all right.
yes.
I'm like
Yes.
putting two and two together. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, that looked kind of like a D-boy at the time. I'm
Yes.
like the way he was dressed and so forth, the
Yes.
jewelry and everything. And he was there with, with you. Yeah, it was a very interesting photo shoot. We didn't talk at all during that time. But then I remember reading soon afterwards, the DEA raised your house
Yes.
because of him
Yes.
looking for drugs and money.
Yes.
He gets arrested.
Yes.
The FBI is involved.
Yes.
And now you're sort of in the mix with this whole drug dealer situation.
Yes.
How bad was that?
Super bad. They took my bus because they said it was a compartment that could have stashed things. They didn't find nothing on my bus. They found compartments, empty compartments under the bed. I was on the cover of the New York Post saying "Beauty in the Bus." They arrested all men, but I got the cover. And, they splattered my face because they splattered hip hop, video Vixen, all that stuff. It's a bigger story, you know? I had a place in Jersey, an apartment right by Fort Lee. They raided that house. There was nothing there. But they actually went shopping in my house. Jewelry, clothes. They even took TVs down for them. Like, I don't want that in my house. Like, literally.
Wow.
Bad guy, good guy, spit in my face. One tried to convince me to talk, but I said nothing. I never went in for questioning. I never said a word. Said I know nothing. There's no reason. So I never said anything. He went to jail for 10 years.
Damn.
Yeah, they gave him 10 years. He's lucky. That was his third strike. So he's lucky he got 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So they gave him the drug pin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said he was doing, crossing over state lines to Virginia to Cali or whatever, allegedly. So that's what they charged him with cocaine and a large amount of money, guns and cars and stuff like that, fancy cars. Yeah, that was devastating because I didn't see that coming.
Okay, hold on. You had no idea what he was doing?
I'm not.
I kind of figured out what he was doing as he was walking by. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, no.
You're in a relationship with him and you had no idea?
Well, I never asked questions. So it's none of my
Gloria,
business.
come on.
What? It's none of my business. Like you, let's say I can see something. I'm not going to ask you if you have a bag full of money. It's none of my business where you got your bag full of money.
Okay, I'll give you an example here. You and I have both been around BMF.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It was very clear to me where the money was coming from with BMF.
Yeah, but I'm not going to ask questions.
Of course, I didn't ask questions either.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you and I knew exactly what was happening.
Well, no, not exactly.
Not exactly, but we had a rough
assumptions.
idea.
Yeah, I mean,
clearly they were not selling albums, right? They did not have a successful music label to
Right.
justify all the money we saw.
Right.
So you have this boyfriend who's
Yeah.
got all this money. Like I said, I saw him with the mink fur and a bunch
Yeah.
of jewels on. So
Yeah.
what? He's making money how?
Well, I never asked him questions of where he
okay.
come and going
All
as he
right.
pleased. You know what I'm saying? I
All right,
wasn't
Gloria.
in that. I didn't play that world.
Okay,
I
I
didn't.
got it, I
I mean,
got
I hung
it.
out with BMF too, and I never interact with them in that.
Yeah, no, of course you don't ask, but it's clear. And that was one of the reasons why, that was the reason why I kind of separated myself from them after, I hung out with them. I'm like, all y'all getting arrested. And I don't
Right.
want to be here when that happens.
Right.
Right? So I nicely moved away and I was right. Everyone got arrested.
Right. Well, they were doing too much and very flashy.
Yeah,
I mean,
they had billboards.
yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
it was
things that didn't
insane.
make sense. They were actually saying, "Look at me, look at me."
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was very ignorant.
Well, you ended up getting into it with a few female rappers.
I did.
Trina,
I did. Yes.
did you get physical?
No, we never got physical. It was just words. Yeah, it was just jealousy. Miami. I'm from this. I was living in the South. In our industry, they feel like there should be just one female in the game, and they put us against each other.
Yeah.
So it was mostly like that. I think she felt pressured to go against me. Later, we made up. She apologized, and she's mad cool. When she saw my son in the club in Miami, she showed him love. So
Trina's
great.
I love Trina. I've interviewed her
Yeah.
a few times. There's always just the most cool energy around her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Trina.
Yeah. But when women in the industry, even like I love Fox, and when I met Fox, she wasn't very nice to me.
Right.
When I started getting in the game, so they feel like it's a competitive thing that you can't like another female rapper. So I was being attacked by a lot of them.
Well, you and Remy Ma got into it.
We did.
Okay, was this multiple times or just once?
Multiple times.
Okay. So at one point, you claim Remy pulled a gun on you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, considering that Remy went to prison for shooting somebody, this is not exactly a shock.
Yes.
What happened?
So we were throwing, I know you have the Murder Mommy time.
Yeah.
So it was a bunch of girls.
I know Elle, by the way. Me and
Yes.
Elle were in Atlanta partying
okay.
with BMF, by the way.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't
yes,
seen her in a
yes.
while, but yeah, me and Elle know each other.
Yeah, so it was a girl movement with DJs, with models,
Yeah.
with actresses, all of us, So we support each other. We did parties together. We get each other gigs. So we were like making money together. And that doesn't happen very often in our industry. And Remy was a part of that. Lala was a part of that. It was just so many girls. So Remy was a bully. Always have been a bully. So a lot of girls were afraid of her. So when she told them to do things or say this or flirt with their man, like she was very aggressive. She has aggressive nature. And she tried to do that shit with me, and that's not gonna pop off, And at the time, I had my boyfriend. He didn't go to jail yet. That's when I initially met Remy. And she would just, try to throw her chest out to me, Like I would laugh it off. So we're doing a birthday party. It was Christmas. My man at the time, his birthday's 12/12. Elle's birthday's 12/12. So it was a big birthday party bash. Joe Budden's performing. She's performing. There's a lot of people performing. And she was there, kept looking at me, and she just flashed her little pistol and kept, swaying it. I'm just like, that's not me, right? Like, me? And then one of my boys, my man's boys, just grabbed the gun and said, if you're going to pull it out, you better use it. And he took it from her.
Oh.
Yeah. So we went on our ways. When we were in situations, when we saw her and we crossed paths, she said nothing. But I had my boys. Now, when my man went to jail, I guess people thought I was an easy target in the industry. So people tried to start to Armstrong me. Things were coming from different angles and trying to take over my career. Then she started going on the radio threatening me. So even Aaron went on the radio threatening me to take my child. So I was being attacked from every angle after my man went to jail. Yeah, and then, so I went to Vegas. There was an event in Vegas, and we met in the mall. We almost fought there. She had a few people. She confronted me at Victoria's Secrets. I had a drink in my hand. She didn't want to fight. We were just arguing. Security came. My boy came and confronted. She had security at the time, too. She even had security trying to, like, belittle me and confront me and try to fight me as well. But one guy from Brooklyn, my boy, stood in the middle, was like, I'll die for her, and they walked away. And then the initial, like, get-down fight was Jadakiss party that I hosted in New York. And she showed up with a bunch of girls in jeans and tank tops, white tank top sneakers, to jump me. So that's what their plan was, to jump me. And I just shot for Playboy at the time. So I had playmates with me. I had some playmates with me. I wasn't thinking if I was gonna fight or anything. I'm hosting a gig. But I had my DC boys with me. So at that time, I was going through a lot of shit. DAs following me, literally, thinking I'm gonna lead them somewhere. I was still under their radar, under their nose. So my boyfriend in jail had people protecting me, making sure that nothing was happening to me. You know what I mean? Like, I was a target in the streets. Let's just put it that way. And I explained detail how I was a target and what information they were trying to get out of me in the streets. And so Remy pulled up with a bunch of girls. We started arguing and back and forth. At the time, I had a road manager. I had a few road managers. He used to work with Terror Squad, James Farrell. So he's trying to, like, calm the situation, be in the middle, and we're bickering back and forth. My boy's over here. She had her girls there. And she just kept throwing, which is back and forth. Nothing was going to pop off yet. And then she says, I know where your son goes to school. And my son just was going to first grade in a private school in Coral Springs. And I'm like, I just was stunned that just, just put me in my place. And then she said the address of where he went to school. There I saw red. That's it. You're threatening my child now. And that's when I threw the punch. And I started wailing on her. I just saw red. I was like, that's it. Okay, it's on. It's on now, bitch. So I really started wailing on her, fucking her up. And then her girlfriend started hitting my girlfriends.
Oh, the Playboy models?
Yes, like beating them up. And then
I'm sorry to laugh, but it's a little funny though.
And
because these girls did not sign up for this.
No, and they never talked to me after that. They never talked to me. They're like, this ghetto bitch, We're never hanging out with her again. I felt so bad. I kept apologizing. And one girl that was with me was Elle's cousin, okay? She used to road manage Remy. Okay, so there was a little thing there. Remy had a lot of little boys that she used to date. Remy had a lot of little runners that sell weed at the time. And so anyways, Elle's cousin was dating one of her shorties. And when I went to go pick her up I think it was in Brooklyn or the Bronx in the projects. She was getting her hair done. The guy was getting her hair done, but that was one of Remy's shorties. So I go up because she's not ready, and I'm sitting there. So people from the Bronx or whatever, Brooklyn, in the project, Gloria's here, and I'm taking pictures with everybody. So when Remy comes later that day, they're like, Glow's here. She's thinking I'm sleeping with her shorty, but no, that's Elle's cousin sleeping with your shorty, getting her hair done. But I'm not one to tell or rat. That's not my thing. But they let her believe that I was the one, So it infuriated her, but she found out later it was Elle's cousin because they kicked her ass and they stole her passport and shit. That day, they beat her. She was with me. So they're beating her up too, taking her passport, and Elle's right there, and that's her cousin. She's there like watching the whole thing. And she was like my sister. Like I did anything for her. I bought her tires whenever she needed money. I slept in her house. I met her family. I ate with them. I broke bread with her. And they turned on me, So I'm getting the best of her. The bouncers wanted to break us up, so they broke us up. She goes outside. She calls Joe, Fat Joe, and is like, oh, I got jumped. That's what she said initially. So they started talking, and then my boy James, he used to be part of the terror squad, was like, that didn't happen.
Right, because I think Cuban Link was there when it happened.
I don't remember him being there.
Okay.
Yeah.
He talked about.
Yeah. But he knows people who were there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He wasn't initially there. I mean, the game was there. There was a lot of people there. And so Joe was upset. She's wearing all her jewelry, right? She's wearing all her jewelry. So Joe knew the person who threw the party, like the promoter. So he said, let her back in and let her fight again. And they did. They did.
And you guys fought again?
Yeah. So when she's walking in, I'm fighting. You remember Sunny from Hot 97? Now she's like a chef.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she's like in a cooking show. She jumps me, and I'm fighting her now. I'm ripping her wig off. I'm in motion. You know what I mean? And Remy comes, and my boy's like, Remy's back. Like, what you gonna do? And I was like, all right. We just started going at it. And I whip her. I rip her jewelry off. I start stomping her with my boots because I had high heel boots on it because it's cold. It's wintertime. And then this time they let us last the fight, and I got it in. I was furious. By then, I already was warmed up. And they brought us apart. She lost all her jewelry. And then that's when, I started getting phone calls. I need to pay for the jewelry. And then the men started being involved because they said, I need to pay for the jewelry. It's not going to happen. Who fights with fucking jewelry on? And then you're coming to fight, to jump. And then later I got, initially as an older age, Sunny reached out to me as an adult and she apologized. That the whole setup was to jump me. She confirmed, and I read it in my book in detail of what she said, what happened and what down prior for them walking into the club, and she's sorry. They even yelled at Lazy K because she didn't jump in. She didn't want to. And they were like, Remy wanted to beat her up because she didn't help. She's such a fighter. She's a gangster. She was mad that another girl didn't help, join in the fight, So, yeah. And then a couple of months later, she goes to jail for shooting someone. Karma.
Oh, that was that close?
Yes.
Okay, so she was really kind of going through
she was going through
a whole episode around that time.
Well, at that time initially she was hard up on money. She wasn't making a lot of money. She was running with little boys in the streets trying to make a buck. You know what I mean? People have habits. She was just angry person. Yeah, she was an angry person.
Have you ever ran into her after that?
Nope. Never saw her after that, ever. I pray that she changes. It didn't look like she changed much, you know what I mean? The way she talks, you know, on the internet, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That she didn't learn much of her jail time. Still talking about shooting people, still talking about if anybody saying anything about her. Like, who says that as a grown-up?
I guess someone who goes to jail for shooting someone?
No,
I mean,
I'm saying lessons learned. Don't you learn from your mistake? You should learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, although
I don't talk the same when I was 20 or when
get
I was
it,
a
but
teenager or when I was
Remy's
30.
a little different though. Remy is a gangster rapper.
Pulling out a gun is not gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, but fighting someone and coming back and fighting them again, that's kind of gangster.
Really?
You gotta hand it to her.
Really?
She could have left at that point. She came back.
No, her ego, and she felt like, fuck, let me try this again to beat this bitch up, and it didn't happen again.
Well, you're physically a lot bigger than Remy.
We're the same height.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 5'8".
Okay, why do I feel like you're taller?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Remy in years.
Yeah,
So
we're basically
basically saying,
yeah.
okay, you're right.
So it was a fair fight.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people didn't believe because of the way I look and the way she looked. I mean, now she looks more cleaner because she got a lot of shit done. Breast done, butt done, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, she cleaned herself up a little bit, but she was looking rough then, you know? Let me stop.
Well, in 2012, you had another child
Yes, I did.
with an NFL player.
Yes.
Can you say who it is?
David Bowens.
Okay.
Yes. He used to play for Jersey. He used to play for the Miami Dolphins. He also played for the Browns. So he played for a few teams.
How did that relationship go after the baby?
Oh, man, it was rough. Initially, he was very romantic. He was loving. They all start that way, you know? I wanted something different. You know, he was good at what he does. You know, he was athletic. He was good to my oldest son, you know what I mean? At the time, my only son at that time, before we had a baby. My son was playing football at the time, too, and he would go to his school and practices. My son was playing football and basketball and lacrosse. My son was so athletic. And it was good. It was a good role model, you know? He was just a calm nature. He was so amazing in the beginning. And I was like, okay, this is my husband. Like, I really thought this was it, you know? And I never got a breather. Like, I never had a relationship that I could breathe. And I felt like this was it. You know, he wasn't a party animal. I thought he didn't take drugs, you know what I mean? A lot of athletes pop a lot of pills for pain, for headaches, for concussions. A lot of them get addicted. But I didn't know that life yet. He was just a good person, and his background was amazing. Like, you know, what he came from humble beginnings as well. Adopted. I met his adopted parents. I met his sister. It was just, I felt like this was it. He understood, and we got it. We were talking deep. And then the blackout came out for football. So they were changing the contracts for football athletes, and they were not rehiring or, you know, giving contracts back to the older ones that were beat up. And they were going to just, you know, they're paying less for the newer players. Why would they pay more for the older beat up players? So he was devastated. He was playing for over 10 years, and to not have football anymore was devastating for him. And he got in a deep depression. He got suicidal.
Really?
I didn't know how, yeah.
Wow.
And a couple times I thought he was going to kill himself in the bathroom. And I'm pregnant through the whole time. And I'm trying to deal with that and trying to lift him up. And I didn't know he was living above his means and everything was rented. He was lying to me. So the homes in Miami, LA, and Ohio were all rented. All the cars were rented. You know, nothing was owned.
Leased.
Lease, rented, whatever,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
Lease,
it's a
rented.
little different. I lease my cars,
well,
too.
Lease. Well, I'm saying even homes, like you're not even living there, and
You're paying rent every month, right?
Yeah, but
so he had a
that's-
high burn rate, is what you're saying.
you're not owning anything and knowing you're living check to check. And then once football goes, how are you going to live, you know, pay off the home still, you know, monthly?
Sure.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
He had nothing, he had no ownership, you know, that's crazy to me. So yeah, he was going to depression. He was not telling me, and things started being repoed, you know. I still have my own home though. So I'm like, tell me the truth so I can help you. You know what I mean? Like, let's be a team. Like, I wasn't trying to abandon him. I'm pregnant. Let's work as a team. And just lies after lies. And you know, he ended up moving in with me. And I tried to help him out. And he started just ringing up my credit card bills and paying off things. But I thought that I was saving his home. I'm thinking that he owns it, you know, just paying off things. But he wasn't owning anything. So he put me in debt. It was crazy. But thank God I owned a lot of things. I owned cars, I owned motorcycles, I owned a lot of jewelry. You know, and at that time I did well. And I was paying the bills off of things I was selling on myself, of, you know, jewelry and stuff like that. And he would just be in bed all day, playing video games and being like in a zone, not talking for days, in deep depression. And I was like, you got to do something. We're about to have this baby. You know, you got to get motivated. And I didn't know how to motivate him. I started emailing, because once you leave football, a lot of the football industry kind of abandons you. You know, there was no more phone calls. There was no teammates reaching out to him. You know, his coaches, he just felt like he was a little kid, like abandoned by his mother, you know.
It happens to a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
They go through a depressive time and then until they finally figure out what to do.
Right.
And sometimes that's never.
That's never, exactly. So we wrote to one of his coaches, and they got him a job for assistant defense coach in Dallas, the Cowboys. So I was like, this is great, you know what I mean? A start. And I'm initially paying all the bills now, you know, with things that I already own and selling certain things, and it's keeping us afloat. So we have the baby already, and he's out there, and he's saying it's too much work. So you got to be there before the football athletes get there, you know, writing, you know, plays, looking over footage, you know what I mean? And basically, whatever the main coach tells you to do, you have to do, you know? You have to work your way up. And he didn't like it. He wanted to come home. And I told him no. But he wasn't sending no money home and no checks. So I called the bank and asked, I need information, where's this money going to? So they said, if you give me the right information, I'll tell you. So I had, you know, all his information, you know, his social, everything. He was strip clubs, other women. Like, you have a new baby. He didn't send me home $1. I was so devastated, you know? So I said, fuck, I got to do this on my own again. You know, I tried everything to keep that relationship working, but it was draining me. I just couldn't do it anymore. And he had a pickup truck, and I packed everything, even a toothbrush, and towed it out of my house and told him, don't come back. And I never saw him since, and my son was 5 months old.
Really?
Yep. And then he went ghost on the internet. Like, he's like ghost.
Huh.
Yeah.
So now you have 2 kids with 2 fathers who are not involved.
Yeah. But they're
in their kids'
15 years
lives.
apart. I waited 15 years to have the second one.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm taking care of my mother and my brothers and other family members as well at the time.
Well, then in 2022, you became Grandma Glow
Yes, I did. I did.
at 44 years old.
Yes, I did.
Your son
exciting.
had a child.
Yeah, my oldest had a baby, yeah.
How was that to be a grandmother?
Amazing.
A young grandmother at that.
Yes, a young grandmother. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. To see my son transition to a young man, to a father, it's amazing to see. You know, his patience, his loving, his understanding as a parent, because I felt like he never really understood. Yeah, I love it. He's a breath of fresh air. I take care of them, actually. They live with me.
Oh.
Yes. He didn't choose. Well, you know, the woman that he chose to marry, he actually married her.
Oh, okay.
She was from Brazil. She was living in Miami. She's a hustler. She got a lot of men. She got my son. There's a lot of women out there. Men, you got to be aware. She had her whole body done. A lot of industry dudes know her. You know, she works the street. She works the beach, basically. She's a what they call high girl, you know, she's...
Call girl?
Call girl, sells sex, yes. So I try to warn my son, but, you know, he had to learn on his own, you know? And, she's not in the child's life, and she's pregnant again.
By him?
No, by someone else.
Oh.
No, definitely not. We haven't seen her. My grandson is 2.5. The last time we saw her, my baby was a couple of months.
Oh, wait, your son has full custody?
Yes, full custody.
Wow.
Yeah, we went to the courts and everything. Yep.
That's crazy.
And he had to file for abuse because he has videos of her trying to hit him, tearing the house. She's crazy. She's one of those that do voodoo on men. She worships the devil. I swear to you on that. Like, don't eat these women's food. Like, she's one of those.
Okay.
Like, real creepy. No, dead serious. My son got a doozy, and it took him a while to get right. You know what I mean? Because it was devastating. You know.
Yeah.
You know, getting abused by a woman, and you love her, and you're trying to do everything right as a father. Trying to tell, don't take drugs, don't do this, because, you know, she did coke and pills, you know, while she's pregnant, and he tries so hard to help her. And even I did. I tried to understand her, because she said she went through a lot in Brazil. Brazil is a hard country.
Yeah, I've been out there.
Yeah, so there's not many options for jobs or for women or anybody,
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
hardcore out there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she did a lot of things when she was a minor, and a lot of parents sell their children out there. Let's just say that. Yeah. So she went through it. So I was trying to be understanding that you can change your life. You don't have to still live this lifestyle. But she's so consumed with it. She has a devil tattooing in her back. And I told my son, when she said that, you should have ran, but she was already pregnant. She goes, when people fuck her from behind, they're fucking the devil.
Okay.
So
That's a lot.
the type of, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, there's women out there that just as crazy as men. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be careful.
Yeah,
And my son got one of those.
Okay.
But my grandson is amazing. He's full of joy. I just hope that she changes her life for all her kids, how many kids she has out there, because she's pregnant again. I don't think that was her first child. She says it is. I don't believe it.
Well, 2 years ago, 2023,
Yes.
you started doing a podcast
with you.
with VladTV.
Yes.
And we got a few episodes in.
Yes.
We did Neo. That went viral over
Yes.
some of the comments he made.
Yes.
Did Cisco. Did TK Kirkland.
Yes.
Anybody else?
That was it.
3.
Yes.
And then we had a public falling out.
Yes. And I didn't say much because you act like I said a lot of stuff. All I
No.
said was like, we did have miscommunication, and I honestly thought it was because we didn't speak like directly. I didn't tell you.
we had each
No,
other's
we did, but
numbers.
I'm saying
Yeah.
about the issue that I
Yeah.
had. Because I had a list of people I wanted. I loved it. You know what I mean? I love the layout, the people environment. It's just like when I was giving you a list of people that I wanted to, you were like,
Yeah.
no. But I was like, why? And I wanted to be fluent so people can see, me interviewing people and
Yeah.
conversing and yeah.
Well, look, the reality is when it comes to a new podcast, even on a platform like VladTV, it takes a while to build up,
Right, of course.
right? And I was financing the whole operation. You were getting paid, Mafia was getting paid, the studio, the camera people, and so forth.
Right.
So there was a cost involved with every project. And at that point, it wasn't profitable,
Okay.
right? So I had to be very careful about which guests I chose because I was trying to minimize the financial exposure to the company.
Right.
And I think from your end, you thought I was just canceling people for no reason, but I
Right.
wasn't.
Right.
I was trying to go with the people that I thought would have the best chance on
Right.
Vlad TV. TK Kirkland was a regular guest.
Right.
Cisco, who had been on before. Neo, who had been on before. So I was going with proven people.
Right.
And I think you got frustrated in the process.
I did.
Yes.
I did because I felt like, the more episodes that you do, the more you get a following. People get more feel of you and
Right.
of you. And
But a follow doesn't happen after 3 episodes.
no, obviously, no. I
Right.
know that, but I felt like you kept saying no. Then I was like, when's the next one? I was getting anxious.
Yes.
And I was excited because we had a few phone calls like, oh shit, it's on this news. Oh shit, this person's
Yeah,
talking about it.
yeah,
Because we had
yeah, you and I
conversing.
were talking.
Yeah. So
Right.
we was excited. And we flirted. This person got upset. And this
Yeah.
person wants you to fire me. And they know we don't have that agreement. I can't
Right.
fire you. We had everybody talking. So I was like I was excited, of
Yeah.
doing it. But I felt like, when I related to other people, I was like, why is he doing that? Like, I should have came to you, honestly. I shouldn't have been in my feelings. I should have been a grown up. I should not have done that. Honest. That's why I apologized later, too,
Right.
as well. And you said some things. You went on like a rampage about me.
I did. Well, okay. Well, let's just set up the timeline correctly. You got frustrated, and then you posted a video talking
Yes.
about me.
But
with your
it was
frustration.
very briefly, if you mind.
Right, but still, it's like you're publicly posting something
Okay.
about me that's negative, and that was fine because I wasn't really, this happens,
Okay.
right, in my line of work. The problem I had was I then try to call you and text you, and you were not responding
Right.
to any of my calls.
I know. I didn't.
And that's when I was like, well, fuck her then.
Okay.
Because at that point, it's like, well, she did what she did when I did nothing wrong, right? Like I was really like financially like in the hole over these interviews, which
But
was
I
fine.
did try to get it for free, too. The studio was going to give it to free.
But
they wanted you to do
they
an
did it.
interview and then we would have got it. Yeah.
They did it. Well, I was still paying. It wasn't a huge expense. It's not like I was
Yeah.
going broke. Well, my whole thing
But
was.
I even told Mafia, like, I could have got other situations for free, too. Like, I was like, let's work. If it's a money thing or if the
Right.
studio, I could have got studios for free as well because I got connections as
No,
well.
and that's cool. But when you went online and talked about me online, when I called you, I remember I called you a bunch of times and sent you a bunch of texts that day.
You did.
And you were literally ignoring everything I was doing. It's like, well, if she's not going to talk to me when she has my number and we've talked before, then I'm done.
Right.
Like, if you can't communicate with me when
Yeah.
something goes wrong, because things will go wrong.
I know. No, you're right. I handled that situation. I should have told you, said, listen, you know, I don't like this. Explain why you said no, or explain if it's a money issue. Let's do this. So let's change. We could have been in any studio if that was a little too high priced, or the camera crew. We could have got a deal from someone else.
Yes.
So, but I should have been more fluent talking to you. Yeah.
Had we just talked that day, I think we could have just gotten over whatever we were going
agree.
through and continued.
No, I agree.
This
I
was
agree.
2 years ago.
I know.
So that's why when I started doing interviews after that and your name came up, or sometimes I just bring your name up out of the blue, I'm like, well, let me address it from my end.
I saw that.
You know, and yeah,
I was like, this motherfucker.
I was extra about it.
I'm mad people were hitting me up, but like I said, no, I'm not gonna put fuel into the fire.
Yeah,
especially when you went on certain other people and they don't like me. I was like, look at this.
Who didn't like you? Who?
The one that he cried because I was talking about, young children shouldn't transition and giving medicine and
Hollywood
stuff
Unlocked?
like that.
Jason?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's my man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's gay, so he's gonna.
Well, being gay is a preference of sexual preference.
Yes.
Young children, making that transition of being so young and taking medicine and doing things shouldn't offend him. He don't even have children. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I wasn't saying that you shouldn't do it. If you're old enough and that's your decision, then so be it.
Yeah, no, listen,
Yeah.
I agreed with you. In fact, when me and him spoke on the phone about it, I said, well, I agree with her.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
you my man, but over this part here,
Yeah.
I don't know about the other part that you're upset about, but this part here, yeah, I don't think someone under 18 should transition from male to female or other way around, because I don't think they have figured out
Yeah.
who they are yet.
Exactly. Especially they didn't have no sexual encounter. Like, how would they know? They're so young. They should be playing with toys and just enjoying childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck is that? We're talking about children sexually now? Like, that's weird.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But, what was it, maybe about a month ago, we got on the phone, we talked about it.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
me and you. Yes,
Me
we
and
did.
you
Yes,
talked
we did.
about it, and you apologized, and I accept your apology, and I apologize for the things that I said.
Yes, you did.
Because, when these things happen and they start to spill into the media, I feel like, well, if you talk about me, then now I should
You
do the
do.
same. This is the world I live
Yeah,
in.
you're calling me crazy and everything. I laugh. I definitely laugh. I even called, Mafi years later. I didn't even talk to Mafi, like, years later either.
Well, Mafia
And
was
that's why-
frustrated also because
I know.
he
I
got caught in the
apologize,
middle of
yes.
all this
Yes, he
between
did.
you and me when he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can imagine his frustration.
Yes, I know. I
Yeah,
know.
but I think at the end of the day, you and I are adults, and I think that the lesson here is that you could get over most issues with
I
conversation
agree.
and communication
Yes.
and maturity.
Yes.
And when people choose not to do that, it usually just makes the problem worse.
Worse. I agree.
know?
I just think at that point in time in my life too, and I'm already in my second book, my son has autism, so I never left my son with anybody. Like 10 years, I just been healing my son and also healing myself.
Yeah.
Because even through the first book, it's about like my chaotic life, you know what I mean? And trying to find my way through life and dealing with trauma and dealing with heartbreak and finding love or trying to find love, trying to be seen. And then as I, gave birth to my second son, and when he got sick, life changed. He was 2 years old, stopped talking, stopped eating, stopped sleeping. And the doctors basically told me, put your big panties on, your life is about to change. And they said he got vaccination injury, that we don't know how severe until he, later on in time, we'll find out how bad it is. And then when he stopped everything, eating, sleeping, they just said, you should be grateful that he's even drinking. When they told me that, like, I couldn't believe how cruel they were. That some kids that have to go to hospital daily to get injected with fluid. That's insane. People don't know these things.
Yeah.
So I went through a lot. And then when I connected with you, I didn't talk to my mom for a while. I cut her off for a lot of things she's done, so she was watching my son. So I already was having anxiety leaving with her, trusting issues with her. So my mom was already fine. I'm not trying to, say that.
No, I get
but
it.
Life.
You were going through a lot at the time. and
Yes. So like I
that was a
mad. I
breaking
was like,
point.
you was like a highlight. Like, oh, this is good. I haven't been back, in an industry.
Yeah.
And it felt good. And, just felt good. And then I felt like he was pulling back, or he's one of them maybe. Oh my God, like I was already fucking in my, you know what I'm saying? Like he don't want me to win. Like it was just a lot going on in my mind. I was thinking negative, and I also was like, fuck it. I just let it go. Yeah.
Yeah. But to my defense, all of our interactions were completely professional.
Oh yeah, you was very professional. Yeah.
I never try to do anything sideways on any level.
You never sexually, never inappropriate,
we never
never
saw
nothing.
each other, yeah.
No, but even on the phone,
even
people
on the
be
phone,
weird.
yeah. We just had professional conversations.
Yeah. Regular
100%.
conversation. He was excited, like super excited through the whole project. But I felt like when for the fourth one was hard to like solidify the next guest. And it was weeks, and I was like, "What the hell, Moff? Like, what are we doing?" You know. But I felt antsy, and I felt, I just felt, I don't know why. I just got in my feelings. I really, truly did.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
And we're here now.
We're here now.
Promoting my book.
And your book is called?
When Silence Screamed: The Girl Who Knew Too Much.
There you have it. It's on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon worldwide. Yes.
Your audiobook?
The audiobook, I'm going to record it next week. So I have it on soft copy, hard copy, and digital.
You should do audiobooks.
Yeah.
That's just basically all the books that I quote unquote read are all audiobooks these days. And I listen to them on double speed, like at the gym. And yeah.
Yeah, they said 70% of books sold is audiobooks.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I have to do it.
Well, Gloria, quite a journey.
Yes,
and,
very much so.
Look,
that's more detailed in my book. You know what I'm saying? Like the journey through my life. Through my parents, so you can get a better understanding. And also, like, a lot of people, that don't speak in this industry, that what they've been through, and you can kind of get a glimpse of what this lifestyle is. Yeah. And the grooming, and not just females, just period in this industry, of the manipulation, the conditioning. They condition you, the manipulation of giving you drugs, giving you the taste of that lifestyle, and then telling you have to do this, So I give a little bit of everything, of family life, of being a young mom, just everything. So there's so much narrative written about me. Now it's my turn, to really, be my voice.
Well, look, you were one of the main figures during like the Video Vixen music video era, which really just isn't there anymore.
Right.
There's no such thing as like the it girl of music videos, because music videos are not as important as they were 20 years ago.
Agreed.
When MTV was everything.
Yes.
A hot music video on MTV or BET at that time meant that you had a career.
Yeah.
These days it's just content.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yes.
So you don't have these standout girls like you, Melissa Ford, and so forth that really kind of became commonplace in terms of like you kept seeing these people over and over again. Not commonplace in a negative way, but it's like, okay, these are celebrities in their own right now.
Exactly.
For being in music videos, which then transitioned to magazine covers and everything else like that. And people became fans of music videos, which I just don't think is an era that's going to come again, because with that was the high budget, $1 million videos and so forth.
And good music. I think back then you felt the music.
Great
it was so
music
different.
as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the artists had charisma too. It was just a different era. Yeah. We had fashion. I used to model for, we had so many urban fashions. I modeled for every of them. We had runways. We had car shows I used to do a lot of things with Flex. So radio stations, we had events, and they used to use us all the time for their events as hosting. I hosted also comedy shows too. That's where I met Kevin Hart. That'll be my second book. So we was in the mix of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even athletes, when they did other events and they used us for reggaeton concerts, I hosted. So I was making money everywhere. Yeah. So there was a lot of money to be made. Now at times they want people to do it for free.
Yep. Well, Gloria Velez, appreciate you coming in and reconciling and everything else like that. Wish you all the best. And, I want everyone to check out the book, because we've definitely read through it. Doing this interview, a lot of the stuff we talked about definitely goes into more detail.
Yes.
Well, Gloria Velez, appreciate you coming in. Quite a story, quite a journey, but you're still here. Yes. You got 2 kids.
Yes.
You're a grandmother now.
Yes.
And you're still doing your thing. You look great.
Thank you.
You see people, you're a little younger than me, but trust me, you see people in your age range that just do not even resemble what they look like back in the day, and you still look essentially the same.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You've been taking care of yourself, doing your thing, and until next time, peace.
Blessings.